What's Gucci with it? YouTube, veterans, military, back again with another banger. Today, we're going to be talking about the VA disability checklist. What you need, regardless if you're barely transitioning out of the military or if you're a veteran, you've been a veteran for the last 5 minutes, 5 years, 10 years, who cares? It's a checklist you need to know in order to properly and effectively navigate the VA disability claims process, as well as make sure you get the highest possible VA rating. Y'all like this type of content? As always, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below your personal opinions, your personal experience on this topic, and as always, like the video because it costs you nothing. Help promote the channel, help promote this information to other veterans who need to find their way in the darkness. Let's get into it. So, very first thing you're going to need is your service treatment record. Your service treatment record is pretty much your medical record from the military. On top of that, you're going to need a civilian medical record. Whenever you separated from the military, hopefully you continued some type of medical treatment care, whether it be through private medical providers or through the VA medical facilities, whatever the case may be. Going on from there, you're going to need to have, you don't need, so this is a either or. Either you're going to be either you're very knowledgeable in the VA disability claims process, or you're not. If you're not, I recommend you get with a veteran service organization. Get a veteran service officer assigned to you, and the way you can screen them, even if you don't know that much about the VA disability claims process, screen them. Make sure they have access to VBMS, the Veterans Benefit Management System. You know, ask how long they've been doing this. What type of communication will you and that VSO be on, whether it be in person, phone call, email, whatever the case may be. Also, keep in mind, you do not need to be down the street from a VSO. When I was working with my VSO with Wounded Warrior Project, my VSO was somewhere on the East Coast, but we communicated via email, and she was very punctual, very detailed. Stories, you know what I'm talking about? Just like I am. I'm not a VSO, but I do consulting for veterans. So, hey, you know, shout out to that. But if, depending on you, don't settle with a county VSO, unless they're worth their grit. I don't do it. I don't recommend county VSOs to nobody, just because it's majority of them, they're just there to collect a paycheck. But let's get back to the topic. You know what I'm talking about? And on the other ladder, if you're very knowledgeable of the VA disability claims process, you know what documentation you need to file, you know what medical evidence you need, you know what the CFR 38 is, you know what the M21-1 adjudication manual is, you know what a DBQ is. It's not foreign knowledge to you. It's not a foreign country. You know what I'm talking about? Go it alone. Cool, that's Gucci. But you need to start your intent to file. Start your intent to file once you decide you want to start getting going, and you pretty much know that you're going to be able to obtain medical evidence within a year of you submitting that intent to file in order to get your first. My radio came on. My bad. Submit your intent to file. If you got a VSO, hey, can you please review my service treatment record, my military medical record, my current treatment record, and see which all disabilities, if any, that I can file for. Now, if you're doing it all by yourself, cool. You're going to be scrubbing through your service treatment record. These are going to be all your disabilities. And if you're still within that year of separation, you can still use civilian medical records from this current time, that 1 year post-military, to get service connected for any disabilities, and it will be considered presumptive to your military service. Not to be confused with PACT Act presumptive conditions, Gulf War presumptive conditions. No, it's just a presumptive time period, the 1 year post ETS EAS separation, in which whatever disability you submit to the VA, you have a higher consideration for service connection, if that makes sense. So you're going to be scrubbing it from all the way from boot camp up until when you separate it. Identify each complaint. Identify each actual diagnosis. The diagnoses are going to have more weight than a complaint. If you have a complaint for, like, your back, IBS, booty hole goblins, for your throat, for your feet, whatever the case may be, if you have a complaint from service, get a current diagnosis, and if needed, get treatment. If it's anything musculoskeletal, X-rays, MRIs, CT scan, anything neurological, anything in the body, past the joints and stuff like that. Definitely want to make sure you can get that taken care of. Endoscopy, colonoscopies and stuff like that. Any diagnostic testing associated with that complaint that you have identified, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need an actual diagnosis. But once you've identified all those diagnoses and all those complaints, you got to be organized with it. Organization is going to be your best friend. And the same way I've done it, the same way I help veterans do it along the way, you definitely got to make sure that you have organization in this. If you need a personal statement. Now, I always recommend doing a personal statement for each individual disability. And if you can obtain some buddy statements, some statements from another person that can corroborate your story, whether you were deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, Djibouti, Korea, Japan, whatever the case may be, Europe, Stuttgart, I'm talking about, whatever the case may be, if you can have somebody corroborate, whether they be military, civilian, at any point in time in your military career, that's a buddy/lay statement. That's going to be critical, especially if it's written logically, it's written clearly, and it's articulate. The same that's going to go for your personal statement as well. Going on from there. And once you've identified all your diagnoses, if you need to obtain further medical evidence to possibly get a 40% instead of a 20, or get a 50% instead of a 30, definitely, you have a whole year to submit that claim once you submit your intent to file. After that, go build that medical evidence. Establish rapport with your doctor, whether it be at VA Medical or private care provider. And the same with those complaints. If it was a complaint that you complain about, sleep disturbances, the most unappreciative complaint from active duty service is sleep disturbances, sleep issues, anything complained about your sleep. A single complaint can go really far, especially for those who are trying to get service connected for sleep apnea VA disability claims prior to those proposed changes coming out. Mental health. A lot of veterans, they're scared when they're active duty to go seek anything mental health, regardless of what happened. They can see Godzilla come out the fucking ocean on that Navy ship, USS Boxer, I'm talking about. They will not go see nobody. It's like, nope, it was a figment of my imagination. Even though I'm missing a chunk of my arm because Godzilla himself came and just, I'm talking about. But you definitely got to make sure that you get it now. Attribute it. Hopefully you got a buddy that witnessed Godzilla peeking his head out looking for your ass. You can do that, I'm talking about. And I digress, a little funny to alleviate the stress that we all go through while going through the VA disability claims process, trying to figure it out, what to submit, how to submit it, and how to get that highest VA disability rating. In order what? Compensation. A VA disability rating equates to the amount of compensation you'll be receiving for, if you're permanent total, for life. If you have any static and permanent disabilities, this is a rating you'll be receiving for life. If you're not considered permanent or not considered static on any of your disabilities, it could be a period of time until what? A potential reevaluation occurs. And I do have videos on how to establish permanency with your veteran, with your VA medical provider or with your private medical provider in order to progress towards permanent total. Because once you do get 100%, if your disabilities aren't considered permanent, you'll just be at 100, not permanent total. Yet 100 is 100. However, there are specific benefits that only come with that P and T status, not TNP. Anyways, I know a lot of older veterans. A lot of veterans like to say TNP. I don't know why. It makes no sense. But I digress. But those, just a recap. It's going to be STR, medical treatment record, and your civilian treatment record. First, you want to start combing through your military medical record to make sure that there's any disabilities with an actual diagnosis as well as complaints. Organize everything. If there's anything you need to build additional medical evidence for those diagnoses, go and seek it. For those complaints, If you believe those complaints can lead to a service connection, go out, build medical evidence, get a diagnosis, medication, treatment, x-rays, MRIs, CAT scan, booty hole scan, whatever the case may be. Get that information in, build that medical evidence in order to make your VA disability claim that much more powerful. If you're experienced, you can submit a claim by yourself. If not, I recommend an experienced veteran service officer attached to a veteran service organization. It's not that hard. Going on from there, it's personal statements I recommend for each disability, but some people might be lazy. A lot of veterans don't like to read, and I would say a lot of them don't like to write. So, hey, maybe typing's a little bit better. Speech, voice to text, I don't know. Get your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, get them to type it out while you're talking. You're sitting over there on the bed and you're like, oh my God, yeah. I remember when Godzilla came. And you're sitting over there, you got your spouse, friend, family member, you're laying down, they're typing everything out. You're, reliving a fight, a battle where you was fighting the acolyte, a Jedi acolyte, over there in Iraq. You was low crawling. You tried to reach for your Jedi lightsaber, but that motherfucking Godzilla came back and slapped it out of your hand so that acolyte could deal with your ass. You know what I'm talking about? But hey, just a little funny, some little seasoning. But outside of that, I believe I recapped everything. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, let your boy know. As always, hit the like on that video. Costs y'all nothing, and it helps promote this information to veterans and active duty military, Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Coast Guard, Army, National Guard. I'm talking about Space Force if I didn't say it. Hey, until next time, y'all know what time it is. This motherfucking Debo out. Y'all stay Gucci with it. Leave your legacy. You know what I'm talking about?